Now you're live.
All right, maybe we'll hang out here a sec. Let some people join. We're out here in beautiful Billings, Montana. Hoping it was a little sunnier today so we could get a little more backlighting on some of these beautiful glass sculptures and cast aluminum from Brian Keith Scott we're going to look at today. But as people are joining, we thought we'd let you see our neighbor, Treasure State Electric.
Through the barbed wire, right next door to Kirks Grocery. A little backlit, that's okay.
So yeah.
Okay, we've got one person who's joined. I don't know their name. We don't always get told their name. Oh, it's Krista.
So
Krista's in here too.
Out here, Billings, Montana, on the streets. We're going to talk about Brian Keith Scott's artwork today.
We got Marnie Edmondson.
Oh, you're back, Marnie. Hi, Marnie.
Marnie is excited for this show.
Woo! We are excited for this one too. It's our first one outside. We haven't been outside in months. We've been cooped up in basements, so we're real happy to be out here. Anyways, we're down here on Minnesota Avenue, Billings, Montana. We're going to look at some artwork by Brian Keith Scott. First time I saw Brian Keith Scott work was over at the Yellowstone Art Museum, where he has some multiple pieces in the permanent collection, as well as some public art outside and under Sky Point, which is in downtown Billings.
Woohoo! Johnny Eggs is watching too.
Johnny Eggs, yes. So we're happy to have you over here in Billings, Montana. It's a little cloudy. We are hoping for a little more sun, but we're going to just head over here.
You can join us as we walk on this.
We got LB outside today. He's chained up. We got our good friend Bear birding ground. He's going to, you know.
And Bear's going to be guarding LB. Make sure that he never has another incident in the street like he did before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, Brian Keith Scott lives here in Billings, Montana. I've known him a few years since I moved here. These are made out of cast aluminum and glass. This is the oldest piece we have here. All these are within the last decade, but this is about a decade old, this one. 8 to 10 years.
We've got Gerald and Connie are watching.
Great, I'm glad we're not having technical difficulties today. So these are not considered by Brian to be originals. These are, well, not originals, not the right word. He doesn't, these are not.
These are very original, I would say.
They're not the original, because these are actually originally made out of cardboard and burlap and packing material and things that will burn away in the process. So this is all cast aluminum.
So when he says cast aluminum and cardboard, I think this,
you can see the corrugation
area here shows you.
You can see this corrugation over here, where he has made these with this glass that is formed beforehand, and he's laid them inside of a mold in the ground. It used to be sand, but he has moved to a different part of town, outside of town, where he said the ground is made out of more clay than sand.
We've got Kate Brandt and Alex Nauman, two of the most exciting people in Billings, watching right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So as Mary looks at this, you can see that. So the technique that he does is some of the glass is preformed, and then he builds a mold or a form around it with cardboard, burlap, paper, whatever he makes it out of, and then he puts that in the ground inside of clay, and then he melts aluminum, which he finds at scrap yards, or people donate it to him, or he just scrounges it, you know, artist style, and he finds some aluminum, he melts it in a big kiln, and then he pours that molten metal into the ground, which is a clay mold, which is holding these forms, which originally were made out of cardboard, paper, burlap, etc.
So you're saying we've got the ground, he's got clay formed in the ground, then he layers in cardboard, burlap, that kind of thing, and it's liquefied. Right?
Instantly the cardboard and all the organic material burns away, not the glass.
Liquefied by the metal.
The glass is already cracked and everything as he has put that in there. And then it starts to solidify in the mold of the ground. Now this one right here is called BB87 Red.
As some of you may know, we have a motorcycle club nearby. What was the title again, Shane?
This is BB BB87 red.
BB87 red.
Cast aluminum. Glass. And all his bases are steel. Now these are heavy. I just moved these all out here with the help of Mary. And they are not light. So the bases are made out of steel to anchor them. This one runs here. This is $3,848. The way Brian prices it is by the square inch. That's how he prices his work.
Shane, why don't you stand right up next to it so people can see how tall it is? Now Shane's about 7'9".
Yeah, 7'12".
7'12" and a half.
Yes.
Shane's about 6'5" and a half. So you can kind of see how tall the piece is.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And this one right here, this could go outside. This could survive nuclear attack. It's going to survive COVID.
Oh,
definitely.
absolutely, this will survive COVID.
This is going to survive. You can put this outside. You can put it inside. Whatever you do, I recommend putting it so you can get the light coming through the glass.
And Brian was just here a little while ago, and he said that really inside or outside, the sculpture changes throughout the day as the light changes throughout the day.
And some of these next ones we look at where he has painted the sculpture as well. If you were to put these other painted ones outside, they would change over time.
And Brian said he's fine with that.
And that's part of the piece. He's fine with the changing of time.
But if you're not fine with that, then you can just keep it safe indoors where you like it.
All right. Next one. Let's look at this one. As we can see, it's a little bit different. This one he has painted, where the last one was the raw aluminum.
Kate said she thought that you were 8'10".
8'12".
8'12". So this one is painted.
And as we mentioned a little bit earlier,
look at the sun right through there.
Yeah, this piece of glass was made beforehand, and then the mold or the casting of the cardboard and other stuff was made around it. And then after he's done all that, he has taken it out and then coated it with paints, resins.
Well, let me back into another Brian Keith Scott. Shout that out, please. Paints, resins. And it looks like candy. I feel like some of these really look like candy.
These painted ones here are from a 4 series called Just a Perfect Day. And this is Just a Perfect Day A.
And Marnie says she loves the way they glow and she feels they're luminous.
They are.
They are.
And the better light. Ooh, then if you can get on the other side, now you got the sun coming straight through.
Okay, let's see.
Flip that around, you can get the sun in there.
Let's see what we can do with the sun here. I'm also in a jungle of these sculptures, trying not to back up and run into them.
This is our first Kirks Live from outside.
Kirks Live.
We have a pretty dead corner down here. We're kind of the edge of Billings, Montana, but we are in the historic part of Billings, Montana.
Is this part of Billings, Montana? I'm not from here. Do we call this part South Beach?
Oh yeah, we've been trying to get this area called South Beach. There's Rimrock Beach up there.
Up there on them there rims?
Yep.
We've got some special guests today, like Shane's mother, Camille. You may know her from Kirks Grocery.
Very, very integral part of the whole shindig that happens here.
Hank
Next
Fuller
up,
is with us now.
Let's look at this. Just a Perfect Day C. This is cast aluminum, glass, and steel, made by Brian Keith Scott. And this one right here is $2,900. I would say this is about 4 feet tall. As I said, they are priced by the square inch. I love this one. Some of the glass is so dark, and depending on how much light you get behind it, you can see through it.
This one's tricky to get in the video, but I'm trying to let people see. It has in the glass is blue, but it also has other tones to it that kind of end up looking green, kind of that green that comes from blue and yellow. Kate says hi, Camille.
Kate says hi, Mom.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
And if you heard, Shane's mom, Camille, said hello to you, Kate. There we go.
I know Brian did attend classes up at MSUB.
Montana State University, Billings.
Where we have had quite a few of our artists come through, our last show, Reckless, featured some of the professors up there at MSUB. Jody Leitner, Kiera Rhodes,
and Mark. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at about 8 of these sculptures by Brian Keith Scott.
What's the title of this one again?
This is called Just a Perfect Day, C.
Oh, Just a Perfect Day.
All these
letter
painted
C,
ones.
like
There's the red one, the yellow one, the blue one, and this really tall red one over there are all the Just a Perfect Day series.
But don't
now
worry,
the newest
we'll
piece we have is the smallest one over here.
Oh, let's find a small one.
This is just dropped off this afternoon.
There it is.
It was made at the same time. There was a piece at the Yellowstone Art Museum's art auction. We have a Vespa scooter club around the corner, and there's just some Italian scooters over there. I think that's a Honda 50.
Let's see. Let's look at the top of this one, because I've got the kind of height that lets everybody see the top and the sides.
If you're ever in downtown Billings, middle of town, Sky Point, right there by Rock Creek Coffee Roasters, I believe it's called, across from where Lou Talbert used to be. There is, on multiple corners, on 3 of the corners currently, there's work by Sherry Cornett, who is a local sculptor, as well as work by Brian Keith Scott. And the work down at Sky Point by Brian is very similar to this. It's these same colors. It's smoother than this. Here you can see all the corrugation from the cardboard from where it was poured.
Hold on, hold on.
We're getting there.
Now we can see the corrugation.
You can just see how these were built out of cardboard and how that cast aluminum has completely replaced it as it was molten, poured into the form, which was in the clay on the ground, burning away the paper, the cardboard, the burlap, whatever he had used to build this original form.
We have a young lady named Stella Zell who says hi. Hi,
Oh,
Stella.
hey, Stella. Stella's another artist we represent here. If you go to kirksgrocery.com, it is being updated continually by Upfresh Media, and Brian is one of our last artists to get some artwork photos up, which we did today while we had these outside. And Ellen Kuntz will be getting her work up next week, but tons of artwork at kirksgrocery.com. You can buy it directly there at kirksgrocery.com.
This is the perfect time of day to make a film of this particular piece. You can really see, you can see the light, you can zoom in, you can see the texture. And I think Shane keeps saying it's corrugated cardboard because it just makes it even more interesting when you realize that that's just cardboard that you recycle, or here in Billings that we throw away because we don't recycle anymore.
Hello. Welcome. Good to see you.
Nice. Jane Wagner Deschner
Just doing some Facebook
is waving
Live
to
here.
say hi.
Welcome. Walk on through.
Yep, now that here in Billings we've started to reopen, we have people who are visiting and walking by. How you doing?
Good.
We've got a little bit of a crew here, so we've got both Bear and LB ready to tackle.
Yeah, so we were looking here at this piece. This is not part of the Just a Perfect Day series. This is a piece called GB19 Sky. And I believe this piece was similar to the first piece we looked at as the older pieces by Brian before he started painting them and adding color to them. These are just cast aluminum with raw surfaces or treated different, but not painted with acrylic, as we see with the Just a Perfect Day series.
And Brian was saying today
You can
that
walk through in there if you want. Feel free to go inside. Not all the lights are on, but you can turn them on. If you don't mind.
as we just said, now we're engaging with people in real life now that there is less of a quarantine happening. And Brian just said today that some of his newer pieces don't have the cracked glass, that his aesthetic has changed.
Which we'll see over here in this piece, No More Regret. Now the glass in this one is not cracked, and he has made this glass beforehand and then has dropped it into these forms afterwards, and then mounted them, obviously with some steel hardware. His work, the glass, what I love about the one on this is these super graceful lines, the depth of color, the blues, the greens, and then curate, instigate.
Hank Fuller says he likes the sound of American iron while looking at these gritty and
Yeah.
pretty at the same time sculptures.
That would be
Hank
our
likes the
neighbors
street.
who's a motorcycle club.
And here's a bit of information. So Stella Zell says that she has helped Brian pour his pieces and wants to point out the glass cracks. And that happens when the molten metal is poured. So let me come around the other side.
But that's
try
not
to-
this one, because this one doesn't have the cracks in it. Right? That would be these ones over here.
That's right. So
These
here's
just the
one
Perfect Day series.
without the cracks. Oh, we have John
Oh.
Burdenground watching. Probably from quite far away, I would guess.
Nice. We got the sun out. Get that. Get through there now. Look at that. The sun is out. Get that in there. Look at that. Woo! The brilliance. The brilliance of light. The brilliance of color. From the brilliance of Brian Keith Scott. We write all these out beforehand.
We do. We carefully script everything we say, and as Brian Scott was saying, he enjoys it when we just make things up. But we've never made anything up.
Oh, these are great. Now we have the sun coming
Look at
through.
that blue.
All right.
Maybe back up here, Mary. This whole scene back here is pretty amazing.
We've got some criticism from John Burdenground about the bouncing being done by our crack security team over here.
Come over here, Mary.
Yes.
All right.
We got
So
bright
we've
light.
got Shane and Camille have found the perfect shot.
Yes.
Not the perfect
And let's
shot,
see.
but hey.
Jeannie Kennedy's here. Will she see the perfect shot?
Oh yeah, look at those.
Less perfect in the video.
With
oh,
the sun
oh.
behind them. If you get the sun behind them.
I'm trying. It's always a work in process here. No,
There we
no,
go.
no, that's messing with the focus a little. We're trying.
Go for this angle.
It's better if when I get close.
Go for
All right.
this angle.
But she has
Over
the
here?
phone. She can see it.
Yeah, sometimes when you look at it, oh no, this is nice from this angle. Wait,
This angle.
I also don't want to step off the curb. If you see me fly off the curb at some point, it's because it's hard to do this back up. So now you can kind of see, you can see the reds, the blues.
If you have any questions about these sculptures by Brian Keith Scott, you can always get a hold of me, Shane DeLeon. They're at Kirks Grocery at
Try this one again.
gmail.com.
Perfect
You
sun.
can also find us on Instagram at Kirks Grocery.
Here we go.
You can find us on Facebook, obviously, at
Actually-
Kirks Grocery.
Shane or Bear, would you turn this one? We get a little more sun.
So every week, anybody that donates or purchases anything from Kirks Grocery gets their name put into a drawing. And we will be doing a drawing today for those people who have done that this week. And the drawing today is for a Joshua Paulson print. Now, anybody that buys anything starting today through next Friday is going to have their name put into a drawing to win a small Brian Keith Scott, who is the artist we are looking at right now. It's a small wooden piece and resin and paint. It's only, I would say, 3 inches by 3 inches. And we will be giving that up next week. So make sure to donate. Venmo at Kirks Grocery, PayPal, kirksgrocery@gmail.com. We will get your name into a drawing.
Oh, we have a few comments zipping by. Jeannie says these look so good outside. Jeannie
Yeah.
has seen them inside. And Marnie says these are sentinels of light.
Yeah.
And they are. Stella Zell says hello, Shane's mom. And
She's
Melissa
inside
Ray
giving a
says
tour.
Melissa Ray says these are beautiful pieces and sends a heart. Have we seen all the pieces? We have not.
Seen this last one, and the sun is about to go down. It's brilliant.
There's the sun. There's the
So
glass.
let's look at this last one here. Just a perfect day B. Cast aluminum, glass, and steel. This one I would say, I don't know, 7.5 feet tall. I don't know. I think I could dunk on it. What do you think?
It's dunkable. I think,
I don't know. We will be making some Brian Keith Scott merchandise, which are just large corn dogs.
let me come around. I think it might be easier to see this one from the other direction, even though I know that seems counterintuitive. There we go. Kate Brandt says, miss you guys, love you.
Miss you too, love you.
Kate, I will make Nanaimo bars for next time I see you.
Happy to see this guy. It's
Yeah.
been like 6 weeks since
Look
I
at that.
hung out.
Shane's so happy there's no social distancing happening at all.
We're not breathing right now. We're holding our breath.
Yeah, holding their breaths.
All right, so looks like we might be done with the Brian Keith Scotts. What do you think of that, Mary?
I think, let me just get it from this angle so then you can kind of see.
Yeah.
And this is work that is always available at Kirks. Brian Keith Scott is one of the staples. Would you say that, Shane? One of the staples?
Oh, yeah. And as I said, kirksgrocery.com. All our artists are represented there. Brian is one of the last to get some photography up of his work, which will be up next week. If you want to know the exact prices on any of these, or if you want to investigate further.
Prices, details. We can reach out to Brian Scott with questions you may have about his really unique and elaborate process. You know, that's sort of a mix of industrial and, you know, the basic materials of the earth. Marnie says, thank you, thank you. But wait, everybody, it's not just Brian Keith Scott. There's more. We're going to show you just a handful of new items inside of Kirks Grocery, too. And while we do that, Bear and LB are going to ensure the safety and wrap it up. You ready,
right.
Shane?
So as we come into Kirks Grocery, we have a couple new pieces by Gordon Mcconnell up because we have replaced some pieces that sold. A couple weeks ago, there was a piece here called The Great Silence. I can
Not
help you with
anymore.
that tall one at the end if you want to do it. That's pretty massive. And so we sold that, and the person who bought that wanted to pick that up, so we grabbed this new piece here just yesterday. Hot off the presses, called A Broken Hallelujah. It's from 2020. It is acrylic on Art Forum pages. All of Gordon's new work is made on Art Forum advertisements from pages of Art Forum magazine, collaged together, and then painted over the top. This here, right here, we can see is Henry Fonda from, I think, Once Upon a Time in the West, where his name was Frank. Is that correct?
He was certainly the villain of that film.
Woo! He was a bad guy.
Being pursued by Charles Bronson throughout.
With his harmonica,
And-
doing The Lonely Whale.
Roscoe says, nice Scott show, taking advantage of a beautiful day. Krista says, beautiful color. And with Gordon Mcconnell, a lot of you, like us, hopped off of the Facebook Live at the Missoula Art Museum with Gordon Mcconnell, Leanne Gilbertson, and Brendan from The Man. And now you have a chance to see his new work. And you can kind of see on the edge here that texture that we've pointed out before, because he's working on top of these magazine pages from art magazines. Stella Zell says, I love Gordon's work, and Gordon has spent so much of his practice being influenced by the Westerns. And a quote from him today that I really liked is he said, I am a man, but I am a gentle man. And he was juxtaposing that with a lot of this imagery that can be based in violence, darkness, and tension between people. This is a tricky one for me, everybody. There's a lot of things I can accidentally back into or fall off of.
Let's come this way, Mary.
Oh, where are you, Shane?
Well, we're
Right
going to take
over
one
there.
quick look here at another new Gordon Mcconnell to replace another Gordon Mcconnell that we sold. We just
Thanks
thought
for
halfway
coming
through
by.
the show that we would switch them out. So this is
Shane, will you move this chair?
e nessuno, which is my name is nobody.
My name
There's no one, nobody.
is
I don't remember the exact translation right now. Once again, this is acrylic paint on art forum pages. These are $500, these new Gordon Mcconnells that we brought in today.
Look at that.
Gordon was just interviewed an hour ago by the Missoula Art Museum. Before we started this, we were there. If you want to go to the Missoula Art Museum's Facebook page or website, I'm sure that'll be up.
Oh yeah.
Gordon Mcconnell was also featured in the Billings Gazette today, talking about what he's been doing besides painting during quarantine. And I know one thing, he's been listening to great music. Am I right, John?
Listen to great music by Miss Massive Snowflake. I love this part right here where not only is Gordon working on the pages that he's torn out, but also he has this change in color. And the changes in color work well with the lettering and the way he's painted that. Gordon was talking today about how influenced he is by the Renaissance, and so you can see the Italian spaghetti western influence, the influence of the culture of Italy, the people of Italy, and this very distinctly American western aesthetic all coming together in this piece. Oh, I just heard a clap.
That's because I had some great food before here. Some great, wonderful vegan food.
This is Shane's father
Anywhere, right there's that.
transporting some art for us. It's a dynamic look.
All right, so we are doing
A little backlit. Let me move around. Oh, so you're doing the...
I'm doing a drawing here. These are all the names of people that have purchased stuff or donated to Kirks Grocery this week.
And this
I'm going to
week-
reiterate. We're going to give this away tonight. This is a print by a local artist, Joshua Paulson, who is currently in France, where he's been stuck for maybe 6 extra weeks.
It's an artist residency that became never-ending, which is probably the wish of many people on artist residencies, depending on the experience.
So Kirks Grocery will be giving this away on behalf of Josh Paulson. He will be getting paid for this print. So here we go. Brrr, whose name is it gonna be? And we have Krista McNamee, our great customer and friend from Manhattan.
That's right.
Not Manhattan, Montana.
Krista is a winner of this Joshua Paulson print.
So this will be being saved for you along with your purchases you made last week for when the virus is over and we know where we should mail them.
Yes.
Where you want
Okay.
to- Just
Here
anywhere.
we go. So what's next, Shane? Where are we going next? What's new?
We're going to look at
Swing around here past these Roscoes we've seen.
the last thing we're going to look at today.
Oh, a few.
Is just some of my personal favorites of the gallery. They've been here since we opened, and why don't you focus on these paintings?
Okay, so Shane is talking about the work of Leah Tonari. Leah Tonari, like Krista, who just won the drawing, is based in New York, although Shane discovered her work in Los Angeles.
Yes,
And
I was house sitting at a mansion in Hancock Park, and they had maybe 10 pieces by Leah Tonari. This was 3, 4, 5 years ago. And she is based in New York City, and she graduated from RISD.
Rhode Island School of Design.
Yes, these
Pride
are
of the art world.
acrylic on linen. And I love the colors. I love how she paints the water, the distortion of the body. Some of her signature use of rich, bright color, dynamic composition, continues to captivate viewers with its contemporary content and references to the history of figurative painting.
It's funny how the present comes into play, because I first saw these maybe a year or so ago, and now in the context of quarantine, this particular piece has sort of a loneliness to it,
Yeah.
of a young boy alone in the pool.
And then on a completely different canvas, we have Leah Tonari's Upstate Blues 2. This is the second in the series, where we see the mother and the younger child.
And And then there's almost like a graphic realism. And then when you
she does a
follow
lot
it
of
into the
commercial
water.
art, fine art, and fashion. She's had 3 picture books published, 2 by Simon & Schuster, and she has also been published by Penguin Random House as an illustrator. She's worked for the New Yorker, the Fashion Times, Manhattan Magazine, Adbusters, The Art of Eating, Elle, Spin, and Screw Magazine.
Wow.
So she's done a lot of commercial work as well. I love these paintings. A lot of them just capture people partying, people living their daily lives. Since we've been on quarantine, she is in New York City, and she has been doing these gorgeous gouaches of empty buildings, empty storefronts, empty beaches, empty hotels. I just love them. If you can find her, Leah, L-E-A-H, Tonari, T-I-N-A-R-I. You can find her on Instagram. She's continually painting wonderful, beautiful
There's that linen.
gouaches currently on paper. Yes.
So this is on this beautiful linen. And then for anyone who's not familiar with the types of paint, you know, she's working with gouache. And gouache, like acrylic, is a water-based paint. But back in the day, it was used a lot more for graphic design. Slightly different. I love the hair. I keep coming back in on the hair because I love the way she treated the hair and the sun on the shoulder right here. Leah Tonari, based out of NYC.
Out of the East Village studio. And she continues to submerge herself in interesting projects.
Let's give a shout out to the East Village.
East
Woo-hoo!
Village.
And the Elliots.
We're not going for a long time. We got maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes left. Here's one of our local, no, she's not local. This woman here, May Starr, she's from Wyoming, spent some time in Bozeman, Montana. I met her in Portland, Oregon in the 90s. She is the lead singer and keyboardist for the band Rollerball, Portland institution, who just passed 25 years of being a band together. This is a small piece by her called Diatomaceous Earth, and it is $100. It's behind glass. It is acrylic and maybe crayon or some sort of resist. You can see how the paint is resisting at places, maybe from glue.
There's a waxiness that could be crayon, could be oil pastel, some sort of resist there. Marnie says she loves those, and I believe she means those Leah Tonaris because we always have a delay in what we see after you type it out. We've discovered. I'm sorry that you see a lot of us in the glass.
So yeah, this is May Starr.
Beautiful little frame here too.
Here's a side note. I was talking about Rollerball, a wonderful band. If you do use Bandcamp, if you love music, today Bandcamp is waiving all of their percentages and giving 100% to the bands. And I know that today Rollerball, RLLRBLL, released a new release. And if you bought that today, these lifelong artists and old-time friends of mine would get your support as well. If you need music besides just visual art.
Yeah,
as I said, her piece is $100. Diatomaceous Earth.
Diatomaceous Earth by
May
Starr.
Now the last thing we're going to look at today is work by Emily Davidson, who has been coming around since we opened. We've had some of her work in and out over the year and a half we've been open. And so I recently was talking with her, and she was looking to get rid of some older work of hers. We have dropped her prices dramatically from what she usually charges.
Is this an older piece?
I think this is 2019, it says.
Oh,
now,
I thought she had a
one
mask
thing you
on.
might want to know about Emily Davidson is that she's a surrealist painter, and she was featured in Juxtapose magazine in 2015, probably one of the very few Montana artists to be profiled in such a contemporary art magazine. It's a wonderful magazine, Juxtapose, originally published by Robert Williams, the incredible painter, a project he started. I've been reading it since it started. Just a great magazine, great contemporary art, focusing on everything from graffiti art to conceptual art and everything in between, a little bit of skateboard
Ellen
culture.
Kuntz says, OMG, I love that so much.
Well, this piece here, I got the
Jamie
names and
is
everything up here.
So what is the title of this one? Tell us
This
a little
one
bit more
right here
about
is called Albino Christ. It is acrylic on canvas. It's 8 by 10, and it is the incredibly low price of $100.
$100. Shane, stand by it so people can kind of see the scale.
There's my hand.
I can't back.
I would say
Hold
it's
up.
about an 8 by
I'm
10.
backing it up.
It's
Okay,
8
now
by
put
10.
your hand up.
I think these are 8 by 10s.
Yeah, I would say these are 8 by 10.
And this is acrylic on canvas. Well, actually, it's, yeah, that's what's going on. It's 8 by 10. It says right here in this thing I'm holding in my hand.
Yep. All right. So let's pan down and see another one, also by Emily Davidson, Billings artist. Surrealist.
And this is Extinction is Trending. Acrylic on canvas. 10 by 10.
Yes.
This is $125. This work will be up at our website, kirksgrocery.com, later in the week. She just dropped this off yesterday.
The watch fob. Look at the inside of the hat, filled with constellations.
Yeah, I love
Marnie
this one.
says Emily's work is so incredibly engaging. She is wonderful. Oh, I didn't see that gorilla until just now, everybody. So maybe you caught it before, but I just got surprised
Oh, Harambe's back
by a
here.
fellow primate. That's right, Harambe.
Calling out Xenotram in there.
There we
But yeah, usually Emily's work, and I'm sure it still is a bit higher price point. Usually she's selling these pieces for between $300 to $500. But, you know, we do want people to buy art, and we are lowering her prices on these pieces you're about to see today to this one right here we're looking at is $125, a drop of about $300.
Tricia says it's a wonderful piece. It is a wonderful piece. I'm trying to get in. There's so much detail to be revealed. You know, the whiskers, the fur. You know, the treatment of the fur looks very different when you zoom in than when you pull back. And the face as well. I love the way the shape of the nose, for me, is really right on that line between how you would render a cat's nose and a human nose. It kind of works for both.
Yeah, totally.
And the teeth in the mouth.
Did you see the rhino on that side?
I did not see a rhino, but that's right, everybody. We also found a rhino hiding in there. If you buy this piece, there's so much to discover. Beautiful. What's the title again is, what is trending?
Extinction is Trending.
Extinction is trending. All right, Emily Davidson. Now this piece has a little red dot on it.
Yeah, this
that
one.
doesn't mean it's not.
This has
worth
been in
looking
our
at.
catalog for sale for quite a while, and I brought it out today and posted about it, saying that we were dropping Emily's prices down. This one right here is called
Look at that.
Change of Pace? Change of Plans.
Change
Of Plans.
of plans. And
Yeah.
so we're really exploring her use of color, right? So we've got this rodent who's probably white. And you see the blues, the yellows, the whites. You see that underpainting that she left as an outline. And how she uses that to create this little mouse, this little rodent, enjoying a little bit of a bath.
Once again, this is 8 by 10.
Oh, and look, look. This little rodent's being bathed.
Yeah.
Wow, this video is really making me find
Did you
details.
see these cute little birds?
There's a bird right here.
Oh,
I
yeah,
did
there's
not. Follow me,
3
everybody.
little birds.
3 other
Yeah, 4.
small birds and a 4th in the air. And she packs in all these small details in a way that in no way crowds the composition.
No, you see them the more you look at it, the more you see, as in most great art. You know, it never stops changing. You never stop seeing new lines, how the lines break apart, how the color layers on top of each other, breaks
Love
out
those
from
eyes.
behind like clouds.
Look at those eyes. They're green eyes, but the red around it makes you think of the red eyes of a white mouse often. And there's the heart.
All
Go
right.
to one more
I think we're
eye.
going to do one last piece today. Can you get in there?
We might need to maneuver a little for me to get in close enough. Will you take that chair away, Shane?
The last one we're going to look at today is a painting by Emily Davidson. It is called Ascension of Fish.
Can you slide that back so I can get on the table?
Really, because there's paintings on it.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you could slide the paintings back.
Oh, this, I can slide this back.
All right. There we go. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Oh, there.
All right.
There we go. Now we've
Emily
got the whole
Davidson's
thing.
Ascension of Fish, acrylic on canvas, 24 by 30, $350. You could cover that hole that you punched in your wall the other day when you were so frustrated by not being able to get out into the world with this wonderful painting by Emily Davidson.
We've got wow floating up on this one. Yep. Wow.
Once again, we see the constellations in the sky.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, but these are
There
fish,
they are.
pêché.
You see the fish, constellations of fish. Now we're looking at the feathers, the wings.
This hawk.
Here we go. The tail feathers, these clouds. I feel like, it could be sort of blood that's trailing down, but instead, no.
It's water.
It's the water. The water that leads you down.
Or is it a metaphor? We don't know.
Is it a metaphor? And let me lean back and get it in for you again. There it is, everybody. There's the whole piece right there. I love how she uses sort of what I would call fresh watercolors in the sky. Those greens that you can see when the algae comes in. And here it is at a little bit of an angle. You can see that she's also treated the sides of the canvas, painted all the way around. Emily Davidson. All right, Shane.
Let's wrap this up, huh?
We're wrapping it up. We've promised to do a short one, and this one we're really doing it.
Thanks so much for coming back to Kirks Groceries Friday nights with Mary. Turn that around, Mary. Can you focus in on yourself for a sec?
Hey, everybody. I'm here too. Yes.
Mary,
Thanks for coming.
this is your cinematographer.
Shouting out to New Jersey with my shirt.
Yeah.
Defend the shore. Camera person and cinematographer. Let's see if I can switch back.
I'm Shane DeLeon. My dad's over here. This is my dad.
Shane's dad, Bill Sowers.
Having a good time. Well, we were happy to be back at Kirks Grocery.
Yes.
Let me finish this up here. As you can notice, we have Brian Keith Scotts were brought inside by all our friends. So thanks for joining us again. Once again, Krista McNamee, you have won a print by Joshua Paulson. We will be getting that to you in the future. Anybody that donates to Kirks Grocery today,
Or purchases.
come on, buy one of these Brian Keith Scotts. I know you got a few $1,000s. Use that stimulus check to buy art.
Yes, that's right.
Now,
Don't
if
have
we need
enough?
to ship it across country, you're going to want to figure out a way to get multiple stimulus checks for shipping. But
we'll take as many stimulus checks as you want to give to Kirk's Grocery.
yeah. So you can get a hold of us, kirksgrocery@gmail.com, which is also our PayPal address. Get a hold of us, Venmo at Kirks Grocery. You can always leave cash in an envelope in our mailbox, 2920 Minnesota Avenue.
And visit kirksgrocery.com. Go to Facebook. Go to Instagram. We're there. We're everywhere.
Like. Leave
like.
reviews. My mom
Correct.
called me yesterday to tell me she was reading some of our reviews on, I think, Facebook, and we had pretty positive reviews. So,
Good to know.
we appreciate that. Yeah, keep coming back. We'll be here next Friday where we are discussing who we are going to do. We don't know yet. Is that right, Mary?
I don't think we do know yet, but there are so many possibilities.
So many possibilities, but we're going to show you the art. Make sure kirksgrocery.com, which is updated constantly by Upfresh Media out there in Portland, Oregon. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye from LB.